Hi, good day everyone. We are from BSB FM3A. We are the Group 2. My name is Angelica Espariolen and my members are Alimonsurin Micaela Nicole, Kalimutan Aljon, Badilio Christine Joy, Micumpal Edgardo, Rayos Myla, Sulit Julieta, Patag Cassandra Erica, De La Cruz Maylin, and De Leon Trixie May. We are going to tackle about the monetary policy tools and instruments. First, let us define what is monetary policy. This is a set of tools that a nation's central bank has available to promote sustainable economic growth by controlling the overall supply of money that is available to the nation banks, its consumers, and its businesses. Monetary policy aims to influence economic activity through various channels, known collectively as the monetary transmission mechanism. It affects the economy through financial channels like interest rate, exchange rate, and prices of financial assets. Monetary policy tools and instruments are the mechanism employed by a nation's central bank to control the money supply and influence economic activity. These tools are used to achieve the central bank's objectives, such as controlling inflation, promoting full employment, and stabilizing exchange rates. Monetary policy is the set of actions undertaken by a central bank to manage the money supply and credit conditions to achieve macroeconomic goals. These tools can be broadly categorized as quantitative and qualitative, each impacting the economy in different ways. Quantitative monetary policy instruments. These instruments are known as general tools because they primarily focus on the quantity of money and credit in the economy. They are designed to influence the overall volume of bank credit and are indirect in their nature. Here are some key quantitative instruments. Bank rate policy, legal reserve ratios, open market operations, repo rate, and reverse repo rate. Bank rate policy. The bank rate is the interest rate at which the central bank lends money to commercial banks. Increasing the bank rate makes borrowing more expensive for commercial banks, discouraging them from lending and reducing the money supply. Conversely, lowering the bank rate makes borrowing cheaper, encouraging lending and expanding the money supply. Legal reserve ratios. These include the cash reserve ratio o CRR and the statutory liquidity ratio SLR. CRR is the percentage of a commercial bank's deposit that it must hold with the central bank. SLR is the percentage of a commercial bank's deposit that it must hold on liquid assets like gold or government securities. Raising these ratios reduces the amount of money available for lending while lowering them increasing the amount available. Open market operations OMO. This involves the central bank buying or selling government securities in the open market. Buying securities injects money into the company, increasing the money supply, while selling securities remove money, decreasing the money supply. Repo rate. This is the interest rate at which commercial banks borrow money from the central bank by selling securities with an agreement to repurchase them later. Increasing the repo rate makes borrowing more expensive for banks, reducing lending and the money supply. Conversely, lowering the repo rate encourages banks to borrow and lend, expanding the money supply. Reverse repo rate. This is the interest rate at which the central bank borrows money from commercial banks by selling securities with an agreement to repurchase them later. Increasing the reverse repo rate encourages banks to park more funds with the central bank, reducing the money supply. Lowering the reverse repo rate encourages banks to lend more, expanding the money supply. The next one is the qualitative monetary policy instruments. These instruments are known as selective tools because they focus on the quality of credit, aiming to direct credit towards specific sectors or uses. They are used to discriminate between different types of borrowers and lending activities, influencing the allocation of credit rather than its overall volume. Here are some key qualitative instruments. The first one to this is credit rationing. The central bank sets limits on the amount of credit that commercial banks can extend to specific sectors or borrowers. This can be used to discourage lending to speculative sectors or to promote lending to priority sectors like agriculture or small businesses. The next one to this is the margin requirements. The central bank sets the percentage of a loan that a borrower must finance themselves, with the bank providing the remaining portion. Increasing margin requirements makes borrowing more expensive, discouraging lending, while decreasing them makes borrowing cheaper, encouraging lending. This can be used to influence the availability of credit in a specific sector. Regulation of consumer credit. The central bank can set limit on the amount of credit that can be extended to consumers for specific purchases, such as automobiles or appliances. This can be used to influence consumer spending and inflation. And the last one is the moral suasion. The central bank uses persuasion and informal pressure to encourage commercial banks to follow its policy objectives. This can involve issuing public statements, holding meetings with bankers, or providing guidance on lending practices. There are two types of monetary policy, but let's go on to the first one, which is the contractionary monetary policy. Contractionary monetary policy, on the other hand, aims to curb inflation and control economic growth by reducing the money supply and raising the interest rates. This approach is used when the economy is experiencing high inflation, which can erode the purchasing power of money. By making borrowing more expensive and encouraging saving, contractionary policy slows down economic activity and helps to control inflation. The second one is the expansionary monetary policy. It aims to stimulate economic activity by increasing the money supply and lowering interest rates. This is typically implemented during periods of economic slowdown or recession. By making borrowing cheaper and saving less attractive, expansionary policy encourages consumer spending and business investment, leading to increased economic activity and job creation.
Goals of monetary policy. May tatlong uri ang goals of monetary policy. Ang una, inflation. Ginagamit ang contractionary policy upang pababain ang inflasyon at mabawasan ang dami ng perang umiikot sa ekonomiya. Ang expansionary naman ay nagpapataas ng inflasyon at dinadagdagan ang dami ng perang nasa sirkulasyon. Pangalawa, unemployment. Ang expansionary ay nagpapababa ng mga unemployment dahil ang mas mataas na supply ng pera at mababang interes ay nagpapasigla sa mga gawaing pangnegosyo at pagpapalawak ng pamimilian ng trabaho. Kumbaga, isa po sa goal ng monetary policy is yung madagdagan pa po yung mga taong may trabaho. At isa po sa makakatulong doon yung expansionary policy na magdadagdag nga po ng supply ng pera. Panghuli, exchange rate. Ang palitan ng pera sa pagitan ng lokal at international ay apektado sa patakaran pang pera. Sa pagtaas ng supply ng pera, ang lokal na peso ay nagiging mas mura kumpara sa international money. Kumbaga yung palitan po ng pera natin at sa ibang bansa, mas mababa po yung value ng pera natin kumpara sa kanila. Importance of monetary policy tools and instrument. Ito ay may malaking papel sa pamamahala ng ekonomiya sa pamamagitan ng mga sumusunod na makakatulong upang i-regulate ang supply ng pera at pagsuporta sa pagunlad ng ekonomiya. Control over money supply. Gumagamit ang mga sentral na bangko ng mga kagamitan ng monetary policy upang kontrolin ang kabuuang supply ng pera sa ekonomiya sa pamamagitan ng pag-adjust ng mga kagamitan tulad ng open market operation, reserve requirements at discount rate na nakaka-apekto sa pagdagdag ng pera na umiikot dahilan ng apekto sa inflasyon at pagbabago ng ekonomiya. Promoting economic growth. Layunin ng mga sentral na bangko na maitaguyod ang pag-unlad ng ekonomiya sa pamamagitan ng pananatili ng matatag na presyo, trabaho at produkto. Inflation and unemployment. Mahalaga ang mga kasangkapan ng patakarang pera sa pananatili ng tamang balanse sa inflation at unemployment na malaking tulong sa pagtatag at pananatili ng may maayos na ekonomiya. Stability and confidence. Ang paggamit ng patakarang ito ay nagbibigay kumpiyansa hindi lamang sa negosyo, mamimili at mamumuhunan kundi sa lahat na nagdudulot ng mas maayos at matatag na ekonomiya. Respond to economic shock. Sa panahon ng mga crisis o hindi inaasahang pagbabago sa ekonomiya, ang mga kasangkapan ng patakarang pera o monetary policy ay nagbibigay sa kakayahan sa mabilis na pag-respond sa mga sentral na bangko. Overall economic well-being na ang tamang pag-audit sa mga ito ay makakatulong sa pangkalahatang ikabubuti ng ekonomiya na nagre-resulta ng katatagan at pagnanatili ng paglago.
Interest rate policy. What is interest rate policy? An interest rate policy is a monetary policy tool employed by a central bank to influence economic variables within a nation by adjusting interest rate. The central bank, acting as the monetary authority, uses this policy to stimulate long-term economic growth and maintain price stability. The next is how interest rate policy works. The central banks manipulate interest rate to indirectly regulate various economic variables, including the inflation, money supply, exchange rate, consumer prices, and employment. What is inflation? High interest rate discourage borrowing and spending, reducing demand and thus curbing inflation. Conversely, lower interest rate encourage borrowing and spending, potentially leading to higher inflation. Next is money supply. What is money supply? Money supply interest rate influence the amount of money available in the economy. Higher rates encourage saving and reduce borrowing, decreasing the money supply. Conversely, lower rates encourage borrowing and discourage saving, increasing the money supply. Next is exchange rate. Interest rate change can impact a nation currency value relative to other currency. Higher rates attract foreign investment, strengthening currency. Lower rates can weaken the currency. Next is consumer prices. Interest rate policies indirectly influence consumer prices by affecting demand for goods and services. Higher rates can lead to higher prices due to reduced supply, while lower rates can lead to lower prices due to increased supply. The last is employment interest. Employment interest rate policy can influence employment levels by affecting business investment and consumer spending. Higher rate can lead to lower investment and spending, potentially resulting in job losses. Conversely, lower rates can stimulate investment and spending, creating jobs. Types of interest rate policy. Central banks can implement different interest rate policy depending on their economic objectives. Number 1 is high interest rate policy. Number 2 is low interest policy. Number 3 is zero interest rate policy. Number 4 is negative interest rate policy. What is high interest rate policy? This policy aims to curb inflation by making borrowing more expensive, discouraging spending and investment. What is low interest rate policy? This policy seeks to stimulate economic growth by making borrowing cheaper, encouraging spending and investment. Number 3 is what is zero interest rate policy? This policy involves setting interest rate close to zero to stimulate a struggling economy. Number 4, negative interest rate policy. This unconventional policy involves setting interest rate below zero, primarily to combat deflation and encourage spending. The next is what is important of interest rate policy. Interest rate policy play a crucial role in amending a nation economy. This following is monetary policy instrument, rates, curb inflation, stimulate investment and consumption, and the last is aids financial stability. What is monetary policy instrument? Interest rate policy is a component of monetary policy, helping to achieve price stability, higher employment levels, and overall economic growth. Rates. What is rate? Interest rate change can influence a nation exchange rate, affecting the value of its currency in international trade and investment. Curb inflation. Interest rate policies can indirectly control inflation by influencing consumer spending and investment, impacting aggregate demand and inflationary pressure. Next is stimulate investment and consumption. This interest rate policy regulates investment, consumer spending, borrowing, and lending activities by controlling the money supply in the economy. And the last is financial stability. What is financial stability? Central banks often regulate interest rate to ensure economic balance and maintain price stability. And the last is challenges and limitation. While effective in managing economic condition, interest rate policy face challenge. These are the following: long-term effects, zero lower bound, and impact on savings. The long-term effects of this is sustaining a specific interest rate policy for an extended period can lead to inflationary pressure or asset bubbles. The next is zero lower bound. When interest rates are already near zero, the central bank has limited room to further lower them during an economic downturn. And the last is impact on savings. Keeping interest rate low for an extended period can discourage saving and investment as consumer spending becomes more attractive. And the last is conclusion of this. The conclusion of this is interest rate policy is a powerful tool for central bank to influence microeconomic variables and achieve economic stability. However, it's a complex instrument with potential drawbacks and limitations. Central banks must carefully consider the long-term implications of their interest rate policy and adjust them as needed to achieve their economic objects. Thank you.
Flexibility and control. Open market operation offers central banks a high degree of flexibility and control over monetary policy. They can adjust the amount of money in circulation by buying or selling securities in small or large quantities depending on the desired effect. Open market operations are a key tool used by central banks to implement monetary policy. They involve the buying and selling of government securities in the open market. When the central bank buys securities, it injects money into the banking system, increasing the amount of money in circulation. This can lower interest rates and stimulate economic activity. Conversely, when the central bank sells securities, it removes money from the banking system, decreasing the amount of money in circulation. This can raise interest rates and slow the economic activity. The central bank can adjust the amount of money in circulation by buying or selling securities in small or large quantities, depending on the desired effect. This flexibility allows the central bank to respond to changes in the economy and keep the economy on track. Unlike other monetary policy tools, open market operations allow for a precise adjustment of the money supply. Central banks can fine-tune their interventions to achieve specific targets for interest rates or inflation. Open market operations are indeed a monetary policy tools that allows for a precise adjustment of the money supply. Central banks, such as the Federal Reserve in the United States, use open market operation to buy and sell government security in the market. When they buy securities, they inject money into the banking system, increasing the money supply. Conversely, when they security, they remove money from the banking system, decreasing the money supply. This allows them to achieve specific targets for interest rates or inflation. Immediate impact. Open market operations have a relative immediate impact on the money supplies and interest. The question presents an analogy between two words, immediate and impact. The relationship between these two words is that immediate is an adjective describing the immediacy of impact. The given statement further elaborates on this relationship by stating that open market operations have a relatively immediate impact on the money supply and interest rates. Here, immediately cries the speed of which impact transparency and accountability. Open market operations are a key tool used by central banks to implement monetary policy. When the central banks buy security, it is essentially injecting money into the banking system. This increases the amount of money available for banks to lend, which increases the money supply. As a result, interest rates, which are the cost of borrowing money, decrease. On the other hand, when the central bank sells securities, it is removing money from the banking system. This decreases the amount of money available for banks to lend, which decreases the money supply. As a result, interest rates increase. This mechanism allows the central bank to directly influence the money supply and interest rates in the economy. Minimal administrative burden. This question is discussing the simplicity and cost-effectiveness of market operation as a monetary policy tool. Open market operation involve the buying and selling of government securities in the open market in order to expand or contract the amount of money in the banking system. This method is considered to have a minimal administrative burden compared to other monetary policy tools such as reserve requirements or discount rate adjustments. Reserve requirements refer to the amount of funds that a bank holds in reserve against specified deposit liabilities. Discount rate adjustments involves changes in the interest rate of which commercial banks can borrow from the central banks. Both these methods require more complex administrative processes, making them less efficient and cost-effective. Therefore, the answer is minimal administrative burden.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. Open market operation. Buying securities. When a central bank buys government securities from commercial bank or other financial institution, it injects money into the economy. This increases the money supply, lower interest rate, and stimulate economic activity. Understanding securities. Securities are financial instruments representing ownership in a company or debt owned by a company or government. The one main types of securities are debt securities. This represents loan made by investor to companies or government. Example include bonds and certificate of deposit. Debt securities provide a fixed return in the form of interest payment. Selling securities. When a central bank sells government securities, it withdraws money from the economy. This reduces the money supply, raises interest rate, and cools down economic activity. Selling securities. A comprehensive guide. This guide will explore the process of selling securities, delving into the motivation behind selling, the various methods employed, and the potential implication for both individual and corporation. Understanding the motivation for selling securities. Selling securities can be driven by variety of factors depending on the seller circumstances and objectives. Corporation. Raising capital. Companies may sell securities to generate funds for expansion, new project, or to repay existing debt. Interest rate. Open market operation directly influence short-term interest rate. Buying securities lower interest rate, making it cheaper for businesses and consumers to borrow money. Selling securities raises interest rate, making borrowing more expensive. Interest rate. A comprehensive guide. Understanding interest rate. Interest rate is the price borrowed by lender for the use of their money. It is typically expressed as an annual percentage rate, a PR, representing the percentage of the principal, the amount borrowed, that must be paid as interest over a year. Money supply. By controlling the amount of money in circulation, open market operation affect the overall level of economic activity. An increase in the money supply can lead to inflation, while a decrease can lead to deflation. Measuring the money supply. Economists and policymakers as the various measures to track the money supply, with the most common being M1 and M2. M1 represents the most liquid form of money, including currency in circulation, physical cash held by the public, demand deposit, checking account balances readily accessible for transaction, traveler checks, financial instruments easily convertible to cash. M2 is the broader than M1 and includes all components of M1: savings deposit fund held in savings accounts, time deposit, money deposit of the fixed period such as certificate of deposit, money market mutual funds, funds that invest in short-term, low-risk securities. Economic growth. Central bank as open market operation to manage economic growth by lowering interest rate and increasing the money supply. They can stimulate growth. Conversely, by raising interest rate and reducing the money supply, they can curb inflation and slow down growth.
Objective of reserve requirements. Reserve requirements serve several key objectives. Preventing bank runs. Reserve requirements ensure that banks have enough liquid assets which help to stop bank runs, which occur when depositors panic and take their money all at once. By doing this, the banking system is safeguarded and public confidence is kept. Controlling money supply. By restricting the amount of money banks are able to lend out, reserve requirements had an impact on the money supply. Increased reserve requirements limit lending, which lower the amount of money in circulation and may even slow inflation. Lower reserve requirements, on the other hand, permit banks to lend more, increasing the amount of money in circulation and possibly promoting economic expansion. Reserve requirements have the potential to indirectly impact interest rates. Elevated reserve requirements result in increased borrowing costs for banks, which in turn drives up interest rates for debtor. Conversely, reduced reserve and requirements may result in lower interest. Reserve requirements in practice. Practice reserve requirements. In the United States, reserve requirements for various deposit categories were established by the Federal Reserve Fed, but the Fed lowered reserve requirements to 0% in March 2020. Thus, they were essentially done away with. During the COVID-19 epidemic, this action was taken with the intention of stimulating the economy and increasing bank credit. Other countries, a large number of nations do not have official reserve requirements, including the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Sweden. Rather, they depend on alternative regulatory instruments such as capital requirements to oversee bank stability and liquidity.
Requirements, a vital tools of banking stability and monetary policy. Reserve requirements, a regulation imposed by central bank on commercial bank mandating them to hold a certain percentage of their deposit as a liquid assets. This reserve as a safety net, ensuring banks have a certain funds to meet the customer withdrawals and prevent banks runs. How reserve requirements work? Banks operate on a fractional self-banking system, meaning they dead out the portions of their deposits while holding in the fraction on reserve requirements indicate. In the minimum amount, banks must hold that typically expressed as a percentage of their deposit liabilities. Meeting requirements, bank can hold reserve in their borrowed cash of the balance is their account. Bank falls short of its reserve requirements, it can borrow funds from other banks in the interbank lending market or from the central bank's discount window. Excess reserve banks can hold reserve above and the minimum requirements known as excess reserve. This reserve can be used for lending, investing, or simply held as a precautionary measure. And advantage and disadvantage. Advantages: reserve requirements provide a crucial safety net from the banking system, help control the money supply, and can influence interest rates and their durability. Instant rewards to implement and can be adjusted quickly to respond to changing economic conditions. And disadvantage: critics argue the reserve requirements can be overly restrictive, limiting bank lending and hindering economic growth. They also point out the money multiplier effect often associated with reserve requirements is not as significant in the practice as traditional theory targets.
Moral suasion. Moral suasion in monetary policy refers to the central bank's use of its influence and reputation to persuade commercial banks and other financial institutions to follow certain lending practices or adhere to particular economic policy. It's a non-binding, indirect approach that relies on the central bank's authority and credibility to shape behavior. Objectives of moral suasion. Central banks use moral suasion to achieve several objectives. Encouraging credit availability. In times of economic downturn, central banks may use moral suasion to encourage banks to lend more readily to businesses and consumers, boosting economic activity. Curbing excessive lending. During periods of rapid economic growth or high inflation, central bank might use moral suasion to discourage banks from extending excessive credit, helping to control inflation and prevent asset bubbles. Promoting financial stability. Central bank can use moral suasion to encourage banks to adopt sound risk management practices, maintain adequate capital levels, and avoid excessive lending to risky sectors. This helps to maintain financial stability and prevent systemic risk. How moral suasion works. Central banks employ various methods to exert moral suasion. Public statements. Central bank officials can issue public statements, speech, or press releases expressing their views on economic condition, lending practices, or desired policy outcomes. These statements can signal the central bank's intentions and influence market expectations. Meetings and conferences. Central bank officials can hold meetings or conferences with representatives from commercial banks and other financial institutions to discuss economic conditions, policy goals, and lending practices. These meetings provide an opportunity for the central bank to convey its expectations and guard desired behavior. Informal discussion. Central bank officials can engage in informal discussions with key players in the financial sector, gauge to their views, share perspectives, and encourage cooperation. These discussions can help shape lending practices and foster a sense of shared responsibility for economic stability. For example, during a financial crisis, a central bank might use more coercion to ask banks to maintain or increase lending to businesses to avoid the credit crunch, even if the banks themselves are inclined to be more conservative due to the risk. Effectiveness and limitation. Effectiveness. More coercion can be effective in influencing behavior, especially when combined with other monetary policy tools. It can help to align the action of commercial banks with the central bank's objectives and foster a sense of shared responsibility for economic stability. Limitations. More coercion has limitation. It can be difficult to assess its effectiveness and it relies heavily on the central bank's credibility and reputation. Banks may not always respond to more coercion, especially if it conflicts with their own interests or if they perceive the central bank's guidance as weak or inconsistent.
The transmission mechanism of monetary policy. The monetary transmission mechanism refers to the process through which monetary policy decisions after economic growth, prices, and other aspects of the economy. The monetary transmission mechanism refers to the complex process by which central banks' policy decisions, like adjusting interest rates, affect the broader economy. It's essentially the chain reaction that links monetary policy actions to changes in economic variables like inflation, output, and employment. Central bank action. The central bank, like the Federal Reserve in the US, makes decisions to control the money supply and interest rates. They might lower interest rates to encourage borrowing or raise them to slow down the economy. Central banks worldwide aim for price stability, low unemployment, and steady economic growth. They use tools like interest rates, quantitative easing, reserve requirements, and interest on reserves to achieve these goals. While the impact of monetary policy on the economy may not always be clear, central banks believe that their action can influence economic conditions in the short term beyond just inflation levels. Interest rate as a key monetary transmission mechanism. The change in the official interest rate is usually transmitted to the economy via four different but interconnected channels: market rates, expectations, asset prices, and exchange rates. These decisions directly affect interest rates in the economy. For example, lowering interest rates makes borrowing cheaper for businesses and consumers. Official interest rates and market rates. If central banks lower the official interest rate, bank lending rates and bond yields would fall as a consequence. Central banks try to affect the cost of borrowing for businesses and consumers mainly via changes in the official interest rate. When central banks increase the official interest rate, borrowing money becomes costlier for banks, leading to higher lending rates for business and consumers. On the contrary, lowering the interest rate makes borrowing cheaper, reducing lending rates and bond yields, facilitating borrowing for businesses and individuals. Central banks adjust the interest rate to regulate borrowing costs, directly influencing economic activity. Official interest rates and expectation of economic agents. Changes in official interest rates greatly influence economic agents' expectations. When rates are lowered, agents anticipate increased lending due to lower borrowing costs and expect higher asset prices for better growth prospects. Conversely, rising rates lead agents to expect reduced lending due to higher borrowing costs and anticipate lower asset prices from higher discount rates and poorer economic growth expectation. When official interest rates go down, people expect more borrowing and higher asset prices because it's cheaper to borrow money. But when rates go up, they expect less borrowing and lower asset prices because borrowing becomes more expensive.
Official interest rate and asset prices. Changes in the official interest rate affect the discount rates used to calculate the present value of cash flows, which are used to estimate the value of securities. Official interest rate and exchange rates. Changes in the official interest rate affect exchange rates as well. Other conditions held equal, when interest rates in a country rise, decline, investing in that country becomes more or less attractive. As a result, the demand for the country's domestic currency decreases versus other currencies. Here are the explanations. It happens because when interest rates go up, bonds become more attractive due to higher returns, making stocks less appealing. Conversely, when interest rates drop, bonds become less appealing because of lower returns, making stocks more attractive for potential growth. When the central bank lowers the official interest rate, it signals better times ahead for the economy. This encourages people to invest more because borrowing is cheaper, boosting economic growth. As a result, the value of stocks and bonds can rise as people expect a brighter future and are willing to pay more for them. It's like a positive cycle. Optimism leads to investments, which drives up valuations, ultimately shaping a better economic outlook. Official interest rate and exchange rates. Changes in the official interest rate affect exchange rates as well. Other conditions held equal, when interest rates in a country rise, decline, investing in that country becomes more or less attractive. As a result, the demand for the country's domestic currency decreases versus other currencies. Explanation: central banks use official interest rates and exchange rates to manage the economy. Interest rates, they affect borrowing costs. Raising rates can slow down the economy, while lowering them can boost growth. Exchange rates, they impact import-export costs. A stronger currency makes imports cheaper and exports costlier. Connection: monetary policy influences exchange rates. Higher rates can attract investors, strengthening the currency. Overall, central banks use interest rates to control money flow, which influences exchange rates, trade, and economic growth. Monetary transmission mechanism on demand. At least in the short term, the changes in the four channels analyzed affect the demand for goods and services. Changes in market rates, changes in asset prices, changes in confidence and expectations, changes in exchange rates. Explanation: changes in market rates. Changes in market rates impact the cost of borrowing, which affect the demand for credit and related consumption. For example, other conditions held equal, a decline in interest rates may increase the attractiveness of a mortgage for the purchase of a house or make consumer credit more affordable. Changes in asset prices affect people consumption through the wealth effect. A person who sees his or her portfolio of assets increase in value may feel richer and be more willing to spend, or even sell some of his or her assets to finance spending or take credit using their increased assets as collateral. Changes in confidence and expectations can affect demand as well. For example, expectations of economic growth may make people less cautious and more willing to spend on goods and services. Changes in exchange rates can affect import and exports. A decline in the value of the domestic currency can result in a positive impact on exports, while an increase in its value can benefit imports. Monetary transmission mechanism and inflation. As mentioned above, changes in the official interest rates can affect demand via several channels. Changes in demand ultimately affect prices, increasing or decreasing inflation pressures. For example, other conditions being equal, a decline in interest rates would result in an inflationary effect. Changes in official interest rates can impact demand, which in turn influences prices and inflation. Impact of decreasing interest rates, asset prices and confidence. Rising asset prices and increased confidence lead to higher consumption, potentially pushing prices up. Currency depreciation. Lower interest rates can weaken the domestic currency against foreign currencies, raising import prices and contributing to inflation. Impact of increasing interest rates. Opposite effect. Higher interest rates can have the opposite impact, leading to lower consumption, a strong currency, and potentially lower import prices. In essence, changes in official interest rates can influence demand, leading to price movements and inflationary pressures in the company.